In the past, Bethesda's Fallout DLC releases have been real hit or miss. For every Point Lookout or Old World Blues, you have an Operation Anchorage or Dead Money. Still, I seem to inevitably play all of them because I always want more Fallout, whatever form that might come in. Instead of adding a new area to the game like Fallout DLC has done traditionally, Fallout 4's first DLC, Automatron, instead chooses to expand on the creative aspect that was such a huge part of the base game. Now, in addition to being able to build impressively detailed and enormous settlements, you can also construct robot companions, cobbling together parts you find in the wasteland or constructing them yourself to create the ultimate tool of destruction. But I kind of take issue with the core conceit. The idea that I'd actually want to build all these robots to take along as companions. Personally, I don't really use companions for combat purposes. They're kinda useless in that regard, and these robots aren't really an exception to that. They're always getting in the way, not really doing a ton of damage, especially in the later parts of the game. I bring companions along with me in Fallout in order to get unique dialogue, to further the stories of unique individuals. The appeal of having a super powerful robot tagging along with me blowing stuff up is more or less non-existent. But that's not to say I found everything about Automatron disinteresting. In fact, I found the actual act of building the robots far more intriguing than using them. The huge array of different parts that you can collect, build, and combine to make robots that vary from useful and awesome looking to absurd and totally pointless, that freedom in creation is fantastic. And I found that I was just creating robot after robot, leaving them to roam my settlements, without actually taking them on missions, other than to just see how they worked. But while robot building might be the core of this new add-on, it's not all it has up its sleeve. It also throws in a handful of new missions. Most of these take place in existing locations across the map filled with new enemies that resemble the cobbled-together robots you're creating, though there is one new location I found very interesting in regards to a specific section of Fallout's lore. Overall, the missions are pretty basic here, and they're just kind of the usual go here, kill everything affairs with a very minimal amount of story. I feel like a lot of people bought that discounted season pass and they're going to end up playing this anyway, but that's probably not you if you're watching this video. If you want to boil this down to some sort of value proposition, it really depends on what you want out of Fallout 4. For me personally, it was fun to re-enter the world of the game for a few hours, play through the story portion, and mess about with the new robot building mechanics a bit. But now I'll be putting it down until the next piece of DLC comes out. Because besides the story missions and the actual robot building, all that this expansion seems to have added are some new weapons and a new Radiant quest, as well as a new settlement, which is admittedly unique, but nothing that's going to make me sink a whole bunch of time into this game again. Keep in mind, though, that in addition to not really being interested in having robots as companions, I never engaged with much of the settlement mechanics. And with that completely new, relatively unique one in this DLC, I feel like that's probably going to be a huge draw for some people. Ultimately, it feels like this expansion was made for someone who is not me. While I enjoyed the small additions that are made to Fallout lore in the final mission, and I quite enjoyed building a small army of custom robots, the whole thing comes off as an extremely short series of side quests added to the game after release. And that's perfectly fine, but it's not keeping me nearly as engaged as the game seems to think I should be. If you like this review, you should definitely hit that like button, but you should also think about subscribing. In addition to doing modern reviews sometimes, every week I do at least 2 videos. One review of a retro game that's at least 10 years old, and another review of a hidden gem, a game that people have forgotten about or just completely missed entirely. Whatever you choose to do, thanks for watching.